Seahawks quarterback Geno Smith having a great season so far, and part of that is because of his relationship with offensive coordinator Shane Waldron. Pete Carroll talked about why Geno and Shane work so well together, and Russell Wilson also weighed in thereafter. Take a listen.
If you notice, Geno's going off the wristband, and that's a big help. It's smoothed things out, sped things up, cleaned things up, and that's part of it too. And we never did that before. There was resistance to that, so we didn't do that before. But all of those elements together, and then let's go back to the trust word again. When Shane says something to Geno, he's not doubting it. He's just going with it. And so there's a real immediate flow, and that accelerates all the process.
I don't know exactly what he said, but I think, won a lot of games there without one on the wrist. And I didn't know winning or losing mattered if you wore a wristband or not.
He's reeling, man.
Look,
he's reeling.
Yeah. I mean, you would have maybe won more games if you'd worn a wristband. And the bottom line is Tom Brady wears a wristband. If Tom Brady can wear a wristband,
that's
anybody
right.
can wear a wristband.
Thank you. That's right, Mike. That is exactly the point. So it's the first thing I think of. Again, it's funny. It's amazing. It's Pete Carroll unleashing really unnecessary information, but doing it because it bashes Russell Wilson and it props up Geno Smith. So I think there is some, brilliance to that. Again, to make your quarterback look like, hey, he's the man. He's selfless. Look what he's doing. He's doing everything we were asking him to do. It's another weird thing, again, where I had people in Seattle for years kind of, hey, this Russell Wilson isn't what you think, and it's not all as good as you think. And, again, you know how it is, Mike. You know people got their agendas, and you're like, oh, whatever. I don't really know if I buy all that. I think you're trying to make excuses for yourself a little bit, right? But, damn, I mean, this year, we just got, the offense, the way it looks, it's hard not to watch Seattle. And I've said this on my podcast a few times because, the guys read my notes and what I write, where I just go, it's hard not to think it's not Russell Wilson that was the issue in Seattle. Not with the way the offense looks and the plays I'm seeing, right? And maybe this was part of it. Again, the wristband allows you to make maybe a longer play call with more information in it, and then maybe have the two long plays together, right? So it's not an insult of intelligence there, right? You said it right. Brady's been wearing a wristband his whole career. Yeah, I don't care how smart you are. You're not going to remember some of those plays in New England. I mean, they go on forever, and then you got to check it with another play that goes on forever. So the days of like, oh, I'm Joe Montana or some quarterback in 1982, and we remembered the whole playbook. Yeah, the playbooks aren't the same anymore. So you got to have that. There's just more personnel, formations, personnel settings. Everything there is different. So it helps your offense. And obviously, Pete was a little bothered that Russ wouldn't do that to help the offense.
And I don't think this is a problem as much as it's a symptom of the deeper problem. What we hear all the time about Russell Wilson putting appearances over substance, worrying about how things will look. How will it look if I'm wearing a wristband?
Yeah.
Not how can it help me to actually wear a wristband? Chris, it reminds me of what your guy Kyle dealt with in Washington once upon a time. There were stories about this. Donovan McNabb didn't want to wear a wristband, refused to wear a wristband. Why? Because he didn't like how it made him look. Again, Tom Brady's worn one for 20 freaking years. How does it make you look? It makes you look like somebody who's taking full advantage of all resources at your disposal to be the most effective quarterback that you can be.
That's right.
It doesn't make you look stupid.
Right.
It makes you look smart.
Yes.
Refusing to wear it makes you look stupid.
And it saves time. That's the other thing, too. When you have long play calls, right, that might be intricate, or it's like it's two plays for one, right, Mike, where you've heard me say, hey, West right slot, 72, Z bingo, U split, Cannon with 58, Lexus, right? All of that stuff. Now, the coach doesn't have to say that. So he can save 5 seconds and go 82, play 82. And then there it is. And then, oh, wait, there's Tom Brady. He looks at it. So
it's a great point. It's a great point. If
that,
you're going to have this gobbledygook for play calls and try to make this game, which is fairly simple, into rocket science, which coaches try to do, you're right. All you got to say is number 28.
Exactly.
Number 28.
And I think that's also probably part of the reason we've seen the Denver Broncos be late to break the huddle and do stuff like that. Again, it's I don't know if it's necessarily as much Nathaniel Hackett as, I think he's taking some bullets for this guy right now in this decision a little. And then on top of that, just with Pete, the biggest thing Pete said to me, the wristband, all that's eye-popping because obviously they wanted to do it. But the fact that we're getting more evidence. Oh, but the conversations, right? And how he talked about it, Geno, he's not doubting it. He's just going with it. That was a big quote for me. Not doubting it. That tells you that when they wanted to put in certain things in the offense or certain plays, there was pushback from Russell Wilson. And he doubted it and didn't want it and wanted to keep it simple for himself. And again, by all due accounts, it looks that way in Denver as well. It does. I know that Nathaniel Hackett's offense has more plays than they've delivered this year. I know that for sure. But I think they've had to dumb it down and scale it back because Russell Wilson doesn't want it. And then there's, doesn't want to throw the ball down the middle of the field, watching the rush. I mean, it's just not good. And I think we're getting some pieces of evidence here to why it hasn't sometimes looked good for Russell Wilson.
What's amazing to me is that when we consider all of these various factors, these things that we're learning, that Russell lacked the self-awareness to understand that if he went somewhere else, it was going to be exposed. Did he not know? Did he not realize that all of these things the Seahawks were doing were aimed at making him the best quarterback he could be, despite his best efforts to not be the best quarterback he could be? And if he went somewhere else, he's going to be operating on a high wire in windy conditions with no net. And he may not be able to keep his balance. And that's exactly what we've seen with the Broncos.
Yeah, no. Mike, you've heard me say the phrase sometimes you don't know what you don't know, right? And I think that's one of those where it's like, I don't think you know what Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen have on their plate as far as plays are concerned. There's that. And then I will say, I think the culture in which he was brought up in made him like that too. When he did start out in the league, how did they play, Mike? It was basic. It was defense, run the ball. Hey, Russell, be conservative, and every now and then a tactical shot downfield. If you don't like what you see, hey, you're a great athlete, run, go get a first down, but don't throw the ball into a tight window. We get a great defense in a run game. So he grew up in that environment, and that's his comfort zone. But now, you don't have the Legion of Boom and Marshawn Lynch. And you said you wanted it to be all about you and the offense go through you. Well, that takes a lot more plays, diversity, a wristband on your wrist. I mean, Josh Allen wears a wristband on his wrist. He's in the huddle doing that. We saw Aaron Rodgers do it earlier this year. So I don't get that. But, I think, Mike, you make the good point of just I think it's about the overall perception or a look or something that's more concerning to Russell Wilson than maybe sometimes the results of what's actually going on.
And we've always known he's been that way. This isn't some new development, that it is form over substance, that it is all about what people think and how people respond. There have been articles written about it. There was a long article in Sports Illustrated nearly a decade ago about how it's all this very carefully manicured and cultivated image and facade for Russell Wilson. And just yesterday as well, he acts like he didn't know what Pete Carroll said. Then it's clear he knows what Pete Carroll said.
Yeah.
I don't really know what he said. But we won a lot of games with me not wearing a wristband. Well, then you know what he said. You know what he said. You didn't guess right. I don't really know what he said, but maybe it had something to do with the fact that I don't wear a wristband. Come on.
I know.
So we've kind of forgotten about the Broncos because they didn't play last week, so we didn't get to see them flop around in the deck of the boat like a fish.
Yeah.
But we may see it this week against the Tennessee Titans. And I doubt that we'll see Russell Wilson showing up all of a sudden out of the blue wearing a wristband. Let's go ahead and take a break. We're actually ahead. I always feel like something's wrong when we're ahead, but we will make it up. We will find a way to burn off the extra minutes. We're going to preview Week 10 with a grab bag when PFT Live, presented by Google Pixel, continues right after this. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.